Hello, everybody. Hi. Welcome. I'm Christy-Faith. I'm here to answer your homeschooling questions. Hello. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok tonight. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome, everybody. It's so good to see you. Hello. Come on in, everybody. Oh, look, I think I see some friends. Hi, come on in. You guys, so I want to hear from you, like, what have been your homeschooling wins for this week? I'd love to hear something encouraging that you could just share that went well in your homeschooling. If we have any brand new homeschoolers here tonight, I want to meet you. Please introduce yourself. Tell me how many kids you have, where you live. If you are someone who is on the fence about homeschooling, please stick around. I want to be here for you to answer all of the questions that you might have. Do I have any friends here tonight or any friends in Thrive who are here tonight with me? I hope so. Welcome, everybody. It's so good to see you. Question, do you have like a black thing on the top of my head? Like that cuts off right about, that's so weird. I think that's a new TikTok thing, huh?
It's weird, yeah.
Yeah, that's newer. I mean, I'm not complaining about it. I just want to make sure that it's not something on my end. My son made me, hello. Okay, well, I guess it's a new TikTok thing.
Because it's not on Insta.
Okay, yeah, it's not on Instagram, which is totally fine. My son made me, look, it's all drippy, but we love it because my son, see how drippy it is? He made me my decaf for my lives. And so it's just precious, right? He did this whole whipped cream thing that went way up high, and then he put chocolate sauce on it and caramel because I'm giving up sugar for Lent. Yeah, wine too, right? What are you guys giving up for? Are you doing anything for Lent? I don't know. I can't, I'm struggling big time. Welcome, everybody. Come and ask your homeschooling questions. I want to be here tonight to just give you some advice. I've been homeschooling for a very long time. I homeschooled other people's children before my own, and I am a homeschool mentor. I've been in education for over 20 years. I have an amazing community called Thrive Homeschool Community. If you feel alone or that you need to be mentored or you need more advice or you really want to grow in your homeschooling journey, that group is for you. You can ask me any questions that you have. Yes, okay, Lenice. Okay, it's a TikTok thing. My other lives don't have it. Okay, good. Because it almost looks like something's covering my, I'm here. It almost looks like something's covering the camera, doesn't it? But I don't think it is. Let me... Oh, I think it is. Oh, it was. Okay. Yay. So I wish I could like turn the camera around, but I can't. So the way my camera is mounted so that I can multi-stream on several platforms, it's mounted with okay. Yeah, I think I fixed it. So I bought a phone holder that you put around your arm that for when you're running. And that is what is strapped around my computer. And the little strap was covering the camera. So yay. All right. Welcome. Hi. Hello, Emily. It's good to see you again. Yeah. Do we have a homeschool question?
Cheyenne says, thoughts on unschoolers?
Yes. Well, unschooling is one of the many homeschooling styles. There's about 9 homeschooling styles. It has so many great benefits. All of the homeschooling styles are valid. And unschooling is very much an interest-led approach. Most unschoolers would consider themselves to be that it's not really a style of pedagogy. It's more of a lifestyle. And I would actually agree with them on that. It's definitely, unschooling is definitely spread out into other things other than your learning. So a great author to read on Peter Gray is Peter Gray. And yeah, there are many wonderful assets to homeschooling. In fact, unschooling. In my community next month, we're having a panel. I've carefully invited different people to represent different homeschooling styles and different demographics. And we are doing a panel interviewing adults who were homeschooled. And I have an unschooler on the panel. So she is an adult who was unschooled completely her entire life. So I'm super excited to include her in the panel. It's going to be fantastic. If you have any questions about my membership or my community, ask me tonight. But honestly, I'm just here to answer your homeschooling questions. So yeah. I'll take a sip.
How do full-time working parents make it work with the younger ages?
Yeah. So how do full-time working parents make homeschooling work with the younger ages? One, it's really hard to do. Okay, so when you work, the things you have to keep in mind is that every family situation is different and every work situation is different. So for example, a mom or a dad who works from home and has really flexible hours can more easily homeschool his or her kids than someone who is outside of the home, working hours outside of the home. What I will say though is homeschooling in those young years when you are like little toddlers going into preschool and kindergarten, although the homeschooling does not take that long at all, we're talking an hour. If you're curious about how long homeschooling takes for the age groups, go download my free 26-page How to Homeschool guide because it's right there. It's in there. But generally speaking, moms who work full time and homeschool their younger ones get some sort of help, whether it is a family member or they have a babysitter or a mommy's helper to come in so they can have their hours. What I will say is I've also known moms who have worked outside of the home who were committed to homeschooling. They have paid for childcare. Now, I know that's not an option for everybody, but it is more difficult when your kids are young and you also work outside of the home, and it may not always be possible for those younger years when your kids need constant supervision. When your kids are older, like right now with my kid who's in junior high, we just sit together and work. Like he's on his work, I'm on my work. I don't need a babysitter, right? So it really changes, I would say, once your youngest turns 6, the whole dynamic changes.
Right. The Acosta family, I can feel so frustrated some days, like I'm not doing enough.
Yes. So I hear you. A lot of moms feel like, oops, I just lost it. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm back. Oh, I didn't silence my notifications and I was trying to cancel that one from Tosh.
No.
So, all right. A lot of moms feel like they're not doing enough, and it's because, so I want you to hear me. The reason why we feel that way is because we are torn. We have this inner conflict because we know that we don't want what the school system is doing. We know that doesn't work. We know that doesn't constitute a solid education. So we're trying to rebuild something over here, but we have no solid example really of what that should look like. And so where we are in this is why people talk about deschooling so much. Where we are is we're stuck where we're still in this fluid state of what should an education look like, how much is the right amount, and we're still holding ourselves to that standard of public schooling, even though we don't buy it. It's really hard to break yourself away from it. So let me give you a perfect example. In my membership, I was coaching a mom who was using a pretty intense science curriculum, and she was burning out because this particular science curriculum had her kids in like doing so many science experiments per year, and it was just overwhelming, and she was having to do this with each of her kids in different grade levels, which, by the way, that's not really how homeschooling works. And I told her, I said, you can probably cut that by 2/3, because what at your child's age, what do they really need to be learning about science? Like, how many times can you go through the scientific method? And it's like, enough is enough. So I encouraged her. I said, go through that curriculum. Have your daughter highlight what interests her, the topics that interest her in that science curriculum. And really limit it, like limit it. I'm talking pick 5 or 6. And they did that. And their life has completely changed because not only is her daughter now pursuing what is more interesting to her, but they can take deeper dives in that topic and in that thing because they're not racing through curriculum that doesn't really matter in the first place. Because an education is not the filling of a bucket with tons of information so that you can check off boxes and say, okay, my kid learned that. Because we know in the public schools, the kids don't remember that crap anyway, right? They don't remember it. So it's as if they never even learned anything. It's just a crazy system, what the traditional schooling system that is like this, that we think that's somehow the gold standard and what we should be holding ourselves accountable to. But an education is the cultivation of a human being. So for science, for example, we say no to all the trillions of facts that mean nothing to our kids. And we actually come over here and we ask ourselves, how can this transform us? How can this change the way we look at the world? How can this ignite a wonder in you about how things were designed and created, and you're curious about the planets, let's go to the library and buy more books on that, right? Where you're not like rushing through curriculum. That's what the public school does. Like, we often leave the prison of the public school system, those confines of the public school system, just to come home, and we recreate an equally as confining system at home. But it's not your fault. It's because we don't know what else to do. Seriously, we don't know what else to do. We have nothing to compare this to. And that's what this whole deschooling is. That's what this whole thing is. It's why I started my group, because so many moms are insecure in their homeschooling. Am I doing enough? Am I going to mess this up? How do I know what curriculum to buy? All these questions and all this self-doubt. And it's like, no, I need to show these moms that they are enough, and this is why. And that's kind of why I started the community. But anyway, I was off on a tangent there. Let's go to another question. Yeah.
Okay. Sandy has a great question.
Hi, Sandy.
We're going to get to her.
Okay, we'll get to you, Sandy. What platform is she on? I'm going to take a sip of my drippy.
She's on TikTok.
Okay.
Antoinette says, what subjects do you suggest covering for kindergarten and first grade? I'm overwhelmed.
Okay, Sandy, for kindergarten.
This is Antoinette.
Antoinette, for kindergarten and first grade, your kid is still very young. So you do not need, like, if, for example, don't be looking at a science textbook. No. Your kid needs to be going outside and studying nature and having a wonder for the world. So at that age, it's really about reading, writing, and arithmetic. That's what it's about. And then going outside, igniting that wonder for learning, asking them what they want to learn about, and exposing them to those beautiful things. So that's what you should be doing. Yeah, that's my answer. Get a really solid phonics foundation, a solid math foundation, and then pursue their interests that young. And that goes so far. You're not getting behind. None of that.
Sandy.
Hi, Sandy.
I have ages 3, 6, 10, and 13.
3, 6, 10, and 13. Okay.
Yep. Does it make sense to work to teach and be a stay-at-home mom? I'm so tired every day, and my kids are crazy, and husband expects me to run a business selling pallets. So
okay.
She's got a lot going on.
Oh, Sandy. This is Sandy?
Yeah.
Okay. Sandy, would you comment in here what curriculum you're using? Because I feel like let me just tell you what I've done. Because I work full-time hours, my hours are flexible. I work from home. I wake up early. I work in the afternoons and I work in the evenings. So I have like a lot of flexibility with my hours, but I do work more than full-time hours, okay? But what I've had to do, quite frankly, is I will only buy open and go curriculum, period. If they're making me plan it, they have not earned my money. I do outsource subjects. So there's programs like CTC Math, teaching textbooks, those types of things.
She's using Easy Peasy.
Yeah. Oh, Easy Peasy's a lot of work. Yeah. It can be easier for you. Yeah. That's all. Yeah. I would look into, with your 4 children, I would look into, like with the older ones, what online academies can you enroll them in for the subjects that you really don't want to teach anymore or you don't feel qualified to teach. So with my older child, we outsource writing. It's not that I can't teach writing. I taught writing to kids for years, but it's time consuming, and I would rather edit essays and talk about a finished product than go through the process of teaching the process. So I have my son enrolled in a writing program, and then we also outsource foreign language. And then we use open and go resources. But I'm still it's not like I'm abandoning my kids. We're still very involved. But I will only buy curriculum that once I set them up, they know what to do next. And like I start very early, around the age of 7, rather than them looking at me and saying, what do I do next? I look at them and I say, what's next? Now I set them up with a really good scaffold and a really good structure though. Don't get me wrong. Like we have our list of things, whether it's a loop schedule or a block and a loop or whatever, they're set up for success. But I will only buy curriculum where if they open up the page, they can read it and try it and then come to me with questions. And that's kind of the goal. That's our style of homeschooling. That's what we work towards. So that could be really beneficial too if you worked towards, and maybe you probably already are working towards those independent skills. Yeah.
Yeah. She says, but kids require math one-on-one a lot.
Yeah, so kids do require math one-on-one a lot. That is what math is one of the reasons why many moms quit homeschooling. But there's even really great math programs where you're like, look at CTC math. Seriously. But I get you because my husband is the one that's kind of in charge of the math in our house. And depending on the math curriculum that you choose, it can be very time consuming, but it does not have to be. There's programs out there. Yes. If you have any questions about my homeschool community and what I do in there, please ask. Do we have any Thrive members here tonight? If so, you can help me answer questions about what the group's about, what we do in there, and I'm happy to explain it too.
The Acosta family says, oh, Romesco, once a week I feel like I'm crying. I'm using Acellus Power Homeschool for my 5 and 8-year-old.
Okay.
You gotta get off that Acellus.
You gotta get off the Acellus. Did I say that out loud? It doesn't have to be that hard, I promise.
Yeah. Somebody else, Crystal, asked about that too. What are your thoughts about Acellus or Power Homeschooling?
Yeah, it's traditional homeschooling. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a place for traditional homeschooling, but it is the one style that I will say that most moms burn out in. Because what traditional style or pedagogy of homeschooling is it is every child is in a separate grade level doing everything separate. But you don't need to teach that way. You can combine your kids for a lot of subjects: literature, history, science, poetry, composer study, morning times. You can have your kids together. And so don't think that, like, when you get on something like that, that's what homeschooling is, because that is one of the 9 different styles of homeschooling, and it can be a lot different. And this is the message, because I feel like moms are tired tonight. Don't you feel like that? Moms are really tired and worn out and worn down. Yeah. It doesn't have to be that way, right? Like, one of the reasons why I do what I do is because I want to mentor moms into a place where homeschooling is life-giving for you and a wonderful experience for you. Now, I'm not saying that it's not hard, right? And that it doesn't take time. It does. But there are certainly curricula options out there that are totally draining, and then there are ones that aren't. And so you just kind of have to pick and choose, but there is a lot out there. So, yeah.
We have a ton of curriculum questions.
Okay, curriculum questions tonight.
Just a ton of them.
Okay.
But on a side note, Ruby Rose says, your hair looks good.
Ruby, can we be best friends? So you know what I did, Ruby? I don't know if you watch my other videos, but if you look at like a couple weeks ago, this was really, really blonde. And so what I did is I had her string lowlights through and then tone it so that it's a lot more consistent. So, do you guys like it? Yeah.
Emily does.
Emily, you like it? Emily, have you and I talked about my hair before? I feel like I have with Emily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I
think you even emailed me about my hair, which I very much appreciate. I'm a work in progress, ladies, with my hair.
Samara.
Oh, Emily,
Newman,
I love you too.
Over on YouTube. What's the best way to manage time throughout the day? I work full-time from home for a university, and my 4-year-old is homeschooled with a Becca. Okay. I want more dedicated time to sit with her to work.
Should I say what I want to say? Are you open to not doing a Becca? It's not that it's a bad curriculum. It's just that a lot of parents burn out on it. A lot of parents burn out. I shouldn't be. I have to tell the truth. Yeah. I think that you could have a more wonderful experience with different curricula options. Not saying leaving a Becca altogether, but maybe looking at some other things for different subjects.
Purple Switch popped in, kicking myself for getting preoccupied last week and not joining the group. Back to the wait list I go.
No, Purple Switch, it's open. Yeah. Purple Switch, the group is open. You can join.
Sarah, dealing with a toddler while trying to homeschool my first grader is the most difficult.
Yes. Yeah, but dealing with a toddler while trying to homeschool your first grader. So this is the one thing that I do want to tell you ladies. I think the hardest years to homeschool are when your kids are little and you have a baby, a toddler, and then like a kindergartner or a first grader, second grader, where all of them are just at your knees running around. The benefit though at that age is that you literally homeschool for an hour. And it's not even one consecutive hour. So if you're homeschooling more than 2 hours, then you and I need to have a talk because that's too much for that age. So if you're curious about like the ages, what's appropriate, how much time you should spend per age group, I have that in my 26-page free guide. It's a chart that's in there.
Tied for first over on Instagram. Just pulled my 5th grade boy. Scrambling. SOS.
Okay.
Also, I don't know how to send questions. Apologies.
Okay. Who is she?
Tied for first.
Tied for first on Instagram. First off, you just pulled your 5th grade boy. Stop. Don't do anything. If you haven't gotten my 26-page free guide, grab it because I talk about taking a break and doing some deschooling. Doing a deschooling phase. And I'm serious about it. I'm serious. Your kid will not get behind. You'll be so glad that you did it, and it will buy yourself time and margin. Okay? Do not think your child's going to get behind because you take a minute to gather yourself, have conversations with your 5th grader. It's a boy, right?
Yeah.
What does he love about school? Ask him his favorite childhood memories. He's still a child, but ask him his favorite school memories. Try to get at his learning styles, what he loves. Watch movies, go to the library, read out loud, do basic math just to keep his skills where they need to be. I have all of this in my guide. I tell you what to do when you first pull your kid out mid-year. And the worst thing you could possibly do is freak out and try to sign up for a curriculum right away. Because chances are you're probably going to sign up for a traditional style curriculum because those people spend a lot of money on marketing, and you're just going to be replicating public school right at home. And you don't need to do that. I'm not saying that's bad. Maybe you want to do that because you want to matriculate your kid in later for next year. There are lots of reasons to do a traditional style of homeschooling, but most families leave the school system because they don't agree with the pedagogy, that traditional style of schooling. So breathe, join my group, please, because we can walk you through this. There are so many moms who have joined my group that are like, I just pulled my kid out. What do I do? And we come around you and support you. So if you are on the fence about joining my group, please know it is jam-packed with value. We get workshops. I give workshops, or I bring in an expert to do a workshop every single month. We have discussion groups. We have a deliverable that we drop every single month to spark joy and breathe life into your homeschooling. I have office hours for grade levels. So separate office hours for preschool to second, another office hours for lower elementary, another office hours for teens. And then I also make sure I always offer nighttime Zooms for those of us who work. I offer 7 Zooms a month. That's not even including the team of mentors that I have hired to be in there. You can DM me and I get back within 24 hours. I mean, the value is crazy insane. You do not have to homeschool alone. Like, I created this group for moms who feel overwhelmed, like they might be messing up, they're scared to death, who desperately need confidence, who need direction. And you guys, don't forget, I've been in this education game for over 20 years. I have read thousands of IEPs. I have taught teachers my entire career. This is why I created the group, because my heart is to still teach teachers. It's just you're the teachers that I'm teaching now. So if you are on the fence, please consider it. You can leave my group at any time. You don't have to stay. It's not one of those locked in things. So anyway, anybody who is in the live tonight, who is in my group, please just share, answer any questions that might pop up, and we can move on to some more questions. Tons of curriculum questions, right?
Masael and Janelle are just so sweet. Supportive.
Masael, you're here. Okay, Masael, I gotta tell you something. So I went and I ran out of time because I was gonna duet that video that you did, and then I saw that you tagged me in something else, and I was like, oh, should I do that? And then I had to make dinner. Anyway, Masael, you are so sweet. Masael pulled her daughter out last week, and she ran me for a loop because she homeschools in a super high regulation state. So we were like panicking in the DMs. I was like, call HSLDA now, right? It was kind of a funny morning. Anyway, and then it was great to get to know you too, Masael, at the party. So anyway, yeah.
Each Libe Autumn, where do you get the 26-step guide? I'm about to pull my 5 and 8-year-old due to autoimmune disease and undiagnosed autism.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yes. My 26-page guide, which is totally free, is in my link tree. You can grab it.
Yep. Okay.
You can do this. You not only can you do this, you can do it better.
Haley, over on YouTube, I have a special needs toddler, infant, and first grader. We are only doing language arts and math, the good and the beautiful. It takes 3 hours broken up when we aren't even doing any history or science.
Okay.
So,
how old? What age again?
Toddler, infant, and first grader.
Yes, toddler, infant, and first grader. That's perfectly fine. No worries. And then I think you said that the first grader is special needs. Absolutely fine. And what I would add to that, because you are absolutely on the right track, what I would add to that is that, you can cut curriculum. You can cut what you don't need. So if at some point you're like, it's time to add in the history, you layer in the history, but then there's other things that you might say, oh, we don't have to do that part of the lesson today. Or another thing that I do a lot when I adapt curriculum is if there's 6 reading comprehension questions where they have to write complete sentences, I'll make them write one beautifully. The best handwriting they can offer me, the most thoughtful answer in written form, and then the rest we just discuss. And it goes so much faster. So the other message that, hi, Stacy. It's good to see you. Just remember that curriculum writers, I used to write curriculum. Curriculum writers intentionally give you too much. They give you a lot. With the intention, if you read those teacher guides at the beginning of all the teacher guides, they say, you can adapt this, make it work for your family. That's true. You need to do that because, for example, like the good and the beautiful, I've done their history and I cut out their readers because those extra readers, I didn't think they were that great, and their curriculum was amazing. So we just did the curriculum part of it and then those audios, and it was absolutely wonderful. And then if there was a particular historical era that my kids were really into, then I would get a living book out of that era. So don't think that you have to follow curriculum like boom, boom, boom exactly. Math, different story. Phonics, different story. But the other stuff, yeah.
Okay. Kathy C., do you offer your own curriculum?
No. Mm-mm.
TCB, I have a 2-year-old and I'm aiming to homeschool her. What forms of socialization do you recommend?
Okay, for your 2-year-old, well, she's really little, right? So you're not going to start really doing any type of schooling until she's 3. And then that's a very gentle, like 2 years of a super gentle play-based curriculum, right? So, yeah, but it's just the normal socialization that all kids have. You know, she doesn't need to be somewhere every single day. That's fake. Like, that's not true. That's socialization that society has sold to parents because that's how the school system is. But that's not normal. You know, being around crowds of people all day, every day for your entire childhood is not normal socialization. So I wouldn't so much worry about it. You know, having friends, doing play dates, finding other preschool and toddler groups. I think she's 2, so you can still probably do a mommy and me or something like that. But yeah. Cool. And then once she gets to the age of preschool, you can find other groups to be in. Socialization is very, it's one of those things that most moms are scared to death about before they start homeschooling. And then once you start homeschooling, you're like, I'm so freaking exhausted from all my kids' socialization because there's so many opportunities for homeschoolers.
Any thought on Evan Moore books? Trying to find a 2nd grade geography and science curriculum.
Yeah, I mean, Evan Moore, they're fine. Yeah. A 2nd grade geography and what?
Science.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's more the traditional style, and it's totally fine.
Munchkin. Ambleside is a good resource. Who do you use for an outsource?
For...
I'm not sure what.
An outsource. Yeah. Ambleside Online is a free Charlotte Mason curriculum. It is really the gold standard. A lot of people think because it's free that it's not quality, and that's not the case at all. It's absolutely wonderful. It's one of the really good Charlotte Mason curricula options out there.
Chickzik, I'm in the group homeschooling prior to joining. Loving the workshop. Seasoned homeschool mom can even benefit.
Oh, thank you so much. I designed it for that. I wanted to help every mom on every part of her homeschooling journey. I've been homeschooling forever, and I learn stuff every day in there.
Okay, so. AK has been asking about Timberdoodle.
I don't even know. I've heard of Timberdoodle. I haven't used it. Anybody in here use Timberdoodle?
It says kits. There's kits.
Oh, are they a subscription box? If I think they might be a subscription box. And no, so I've used Kiwi Crate. I've bought almost every type of Kiwi Crate, and those are great. But yeah, I don't know. I have not used Timberdoodle. Have you? Let us know about it.
Janelle asks, when do you need to start keeping records? And is there a tool to keep with that?
Okay, Janelle, the answer is yes. There are lots of tools to help you keep your homeschooling records. But here's the thing. You might not have to. I don't know what state you live in. So in all the 50 states, there's different state laws regarding homeschooling. And it's very important that we comply with our state laws. But, for example, I live in Colorado, and there are certain requirements that I have to meet, but I do not have to keep homeschooling records and turn records in. So it really depends on your state. So find out first what your state requires. Okay, I'm going to tell you 3 steps. First, find out what your state requires. And then before you freak out, like if you're in Ohio or one of those high regulation states, before you freak out, join some homeschooling Facebook groups in your state and ask those ladies how they're doing it. Because what ends up happening is it's like super easy where you can literally turn in templates every year and it's not hard at all, even though it seems hard. But, and then number 3, always comply with your state laws.
Yeah.
But even in states like New York, I've talked to New Yorkers who homeschool and I was like, oh, you live in a high regulation state. How do you even do it? And they're like, oh, no. It's super easy. It's so low key. So, you know, those laws like scare you, and then you realize to comply with the laws is, you know, sometimes as easy as a passport form or something like that. Just not super hard. Yeah. I'm going to take a quick sip. Glad you guys are here, everybody. Let me see if I can, hold on. Don't leave. I'm going to, there we go. Okay, good. I didn't lose you.
Jessica.
Jessica. I keep getting, I wish I had silenced my notifications.
Jessica says, leaving classical conversations after this year. Not right for us anymore, but now feeling a bit lost.
What's her name?
Jessica.
Jessica. I left classical conversations too. Yeah, and I felt really lost. It took me 8 months to have the courage to leave. So you'll find your footing and you will find your people. And you know what? I don't know if you've considered it, but take all that money that you were giving classical conversations and take a small little smidgen of it and join my super affordable group so that we can feed you and nurture you in your homeschooling journey. Yeah. If you guys have any questions about my community, I'm here to answer them tonight. It's a phenomenal, wonderful, enriching community. We are welcoming to everybody, non-sectarian, which means we are not secular and we are not religious. So everyone is proud of who they are. So just today in the feed, we had a solid Christian asking a Christian homeschooling question. We also have moms who are secular asking solid secular questions. It doesn't matter. There is so much we have in common, and we all want so many of the same things. We want the best childhood for our kids. We want our families to thrive. We want to be learning ourselves in doing this journey. We want this to be fulfilling for us too. There's so many things that we have in common that we don't have to worry about religion or anything political or anything like that. So it really is a special, very safe place. And Masael's in there and she's here tonight. Yay. Yeah.
Summer, I don't have kids, but just a millennial here holding on to public school trauma. Thank you for all you do.
Oh, you are so sweet. I'm so glad you're here. And thank you. And you're not alone with the public school trauma. I was researching for a TikTok today, and the statistics of girls who are sexually harassed in our schools is insanely high. It's like 50%, most of the studies that I looked at today. And I'm not saying that's what happened to you, but people don't realize just how toxic the public schools really are. And part of it is, if you admit it, then you have a big problem on your hands that people aren't ready to face. But we are parents of our children, and we can make decisions for our own family and do what is right for our kids.
That's right. The Heather Front, or the Heather Front, I think. Can you share open and go curriculums?
Yeah. There are a lot of open and go curriculum options. I mean, can I share? There's thousands of curriculum options, but is there a particular subject that you want to know? I mean, I could ramble, but there are a lot of them. Even if you Google best open and go homeschool curriculum, tons of stuff will come up.
Let's see here.
But open and go is the only thing I'll buy.
Yep. Let's see. Samara over on YouTube. What's your recommendation for a faith-based curriculum? She has that 4-year-old.
Yes. So there are quite a few faith-based curriculum options. What I would encourage you to do first is to figure out your homeschooling style, because there are 9 different styles. And then once you know your style, then you'll be able to search for curriculum within that style. So there's classical, Charlotte Mason, traditional, unit study, unschooling, that type of a thing. So figure out what you are first, and you have time. But I know it's like you want to give your daughter the best. And I love that. You're so sweet. Yeah.
Terry, you spoke with her earlier about leaving. She's leaving classical
Yeah.
conversations. How does your group work? She says.
Yeah. So, how does my group? It's called Thrive Homeschool Community, and I started it because I wanted an affordable way to share my expertise. I've been in education for over 20 years, um, and I've taught kids from in every with every learning profile you can imagine, basically. But my group has 7 main gives in it, way more than what is normal. I talked to my my network that it hosts the group, and they're like, "You're offering way too much for the price." And I was like, "You know what? These are homeschool moms. Like, I don't mind." So we do a workshop every single month, and that is available on replay if you can't see it live. We do discussion groups every month where we learn together and connect with one another, share stories, so you get to know other mamas in the group. We have a deliverable drop every single month, which is really cool. The whole design behind that is to breathe life into your homeschooling. Some like this month we're asking moms, "Hey, take a break from your curriculum because we're not slaves to our curriculum, right? We're not slaves to our curriculum. We are the boss." So the whole deliverable this month is like, "Hey, do this amazing enriching study instead. Just add math," right? It's just this going to be this beautiful thing that we're dropping this month. And then we have office hours, a lot of office hours. So I separate my office hours by age. You can come to all the ages, but we separate them from preschool to second grade, and then another early elementary group, and then another teen group. And then, of course, I make sure that I have nighttime options for all of us working moms. But in addition to that, we just have an amazing community of moms, a safe community that you can ask your questions to. I also have a team of hired mentors who come in and advise you on a daily basis. And then last, which really is worth its money alone, is you can DM me and I DM you back, like with meaningful responses. And I get, right now I'm tracking, I'm able to check in on that twice a day. So, I promise under 48 hours, but I really get in there every day, every business day. So there's a tremendous amount of value. It's kind of where academic advising meets I finally found my people type of a group. So anyway, that's kind of what it's about. You can check it out in my link tree. You can just go right to my link tree on my social, all of my socials, and it's right there. Click that button, and clicking that button, just you'll learn about it, and then you can think about it. But anyway, I'm here to nurture you. My calling in life is to nurture and equip you. It's where my heart is. It keeps me going. Besides being a wife and a mother, it truly breathes life into my life to be doing this for you guys and with you guys. So anyway, that's what it is.
Do you think the good, the beautiful math and language arts are complete enough?
I have not done the good and the beautiful math and language arts in my own homeschool. But I know many people who have and who have done it for the long haul. So my answer is going to be yes. I highly respect the good and the beautiful and what they have done. They make their curriculum really affordable. It's open and go. It's well done. So, however, I am saying that with the caveat of I have not personally used it. So, but here's the thing, you guys. Here's the message I want to share with you about curriculum. A lot of moms view curriculum as their insurance policy. And what I mean by that is, if I have the right curriculum, my homeschool will work. We'll all be on the right track and everything will work. It's all about the curriculum. I got to have the right curriculum. And here's the thing about homeschool curriculum. Most of it is completely adequate to do the job really, really well. Curriculum is not nearly as important as who you are to your kids. Not nearly as important. And so, yes, we got to make our wise curriculum decisions, but don't don't be in a mindset where you're constantly looking for better, because there will always be something better, but then that better thing might be lacking in another area that another one wasn't lacking in, right? Because nothing's perfect. But the thing is that truly, and I mean this, most curriculum out there does the job extremely well. Very, very well. So what you're using is not extremely concerning to me. What I like to spend my days concentrating on is, yes, we try to make a wise decision with our curriculum, but it's more about how we're using the curriculum, who we are to our kids, is our family connected? We're cultivating human beings. We want them to have a love for learning and lots of other soft skills like communication and people skills and those types of things, which are not taught in curriculum. So anyway, I want that message to be freeing to you as you guys are shopping around and looking for what's best and what's better than this and that and the other, which is good. Just keep in mind, you can get decision fatigue very easily, live in constant overwhelm with the curriculum options, and it can be extremely draining. And then you probably will end up buying the first one you looked at anyway. So, yeah. I hope that's encouraging. Was that encouraging? Yeah. We should put up this Saturday, I'm refilming my curriculum overwhelm workshop because it's curriculum buying season, and we're going to be putting that up on my website. Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Belinda asks, how long have you been homeschooling?
I have been homeschooling many, many years because I homeschooled other kids before my own. Pretty long time.
What are your top preschool curriculums?
Preschool curriculum, well, one, you don't need one. But if you want one, all of the options are great. Like The Good and the Beautiful, Book Shark, Sunlight. I really like Homegrown Preschooler as well. I gave you both secular and faith-based in there. But at preschool, at that age, most curricula out there is pretty play-based, and that's what you want. So you can really, Memoria, they all do a pretty great job. Yeah.
Mama Bear, I pulled my 7th grader before 7th grade started, but he started homeschool in the summer, and he was in public school his whole life. Should I have waited?
How's he doing? Oh, wait for her answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Science, faith-based curriculum, 1st grade?
Science, faith-based, 1st grade. Well, I really believe in the elementary years, science should be all about nature study. So, I would look to that mainly. Getting outside, so there's some really great options out there. The good, anything Charlotte Mason will be an absolute fit. Right now, my family, we're doing Our Journey Westward with Cindy West. And that's been wonderful. It's been a really great experience. And my youngest one listens and does a coloring page and then learns so much. And the older kids are note-taking, doing kind of more science-y things. So she does a great job. In my membership, actually, she gave me I reached out to her because I loved her curriculum so much. I am pounding the pavement, you guys, for my membership to get really good discount codes for curriculum buying season. And I reached out to, I don't know, like 8 different companies today and heard back from a couple. But I was like, Cindy, I want a coupon for my membership. Anyway, she gave me one. So I'll be probably getting a lot of these coupon codes posted next week sometime in the membership.
Ashley, just pulled my 5th grade son this year and trying to let go of the school model day.
Yes, it's so hard. I know.
Yeah.
And Chrissy was saying, how many hours a day do you homeschool? In my 26-page guide, I have a chart in there that tells you about how many hours per age. So go grab that. That'll be really helpful for you.
Great. I want to homeschool, but my husband isn't quite on board with it yet.
Yeah.
He's not convinced.
Do you guys think I should do a workshop for unsupportive spouses and family members? I've been thinking about that. I'd love your feedback. Do you think that would be a good workshop? Because I get that question all the time. It's a really big hurdle for a lot of families where one spouse is on board and the other is not, and they don't know what to do. So anyway, I've considered doing a workshop on that. Okay, people are saying yes. Okay.
Samara, you mentioned we should only be homeschooling a couple hours. This is the one with the 4-year-old.
Okay.
What do they do for the rest of the day?
They play.
I'm very new to this, if
Yeah.
you can't tell, and I don't have an example to go off of.
What's her name?
Samara over on YouTube.
Samara on YouTube. I'm so glad you're here tonight. You are welcome here. Don't feel bad for your questions. I love your questions. I love that you're here. I would love to have you in Thrive, and there's a whole subgroup in there just for preschool mamas who haven't started yet, but they're looking to start. So her daughter's 2 though, right?
4.
Oh, 4 already. Oh yeah, absolutely. And yeah, so many of us never had a model of what homeschooling should look like, and so it's really hard for us. But to answer your question is play. They play for the rest of the day. And you really try to foster that independent play and that imagination, and you're reading out loud to them every day. So then you'll find them in their rooms with their Legos, reenacting the stories that you read to them. And it's just beautiful, just the space to live and learn. You know, those kids at that age, they learn through play. So that's what you do for the rest of the time. You make sure they can read, and you do math, and anything else sprinkled in for fun. And go to the library, go to reading times, go to play groups, tons of outside play, creative Lego play, all that type of thing. You can, at that age, you can do, reading and math, and then order a Kiwi crate. And that can be kind of your art or science or your STEM, and do that. Or you can do one of those cooking things, and you guys can cook together, which is an amazing learning experience. So yeah, that's what you do. You just enjoy your time together. And in addition to doing the laundry, the cooking, all the things you need to do, keeping the house clean. Yeah.
Alejandra over on Facebook, can you please suggest a good open and go language arts curriculum, grade 3 and 5?
Okay, open and go language arts curriculum, grade 3 and 5. There are quite a few. What style homeschooler is she?
We'll see. We'll wait to hear her back here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you have any home economics resources? My oldest is 8 years old.
I love that. Okay, so interestingly, Charlotte Mason believed in handicrafts. And kind of translated today is like, I consider that, having hobbies. And so whether that my kids are learning to knit, because my mom knits, and I was like, you know what, that's going to be a great memory for my kids if they learn to knit. Needlework, embroidery, cooking, I consider a handicraft, woodworking, tinkering, all that type of thing. And her question was, what exactly? A home ec?
Yeah.
I don't know of a home ec curriculum, but that'd be interesting. Yeah, other than like you can buy those radish boxes and but I think that doing that, I think you could probably, what I would do if I were you? I love that this is on your heart. This is fun. What I would do is, if you can't find a local class, like a sewing class or a cooking class, I would look at OutSchool and see what's in OutSchool. If you can find a painting class or a sewing class or something like that, and kind of cover the home economics stuff. Yeah.
Okay, Anna and Sarah have a similar question here.
Okay.
What's the best amount of time to spend with a 4-year-old for a mama with low patience?
For schooling a 4-year-old, I would say no more than it's preschool, right? I would say no more than an hour, and not all at once. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. They all like that one. Yeah. Okay. Tell me
I
about.
love your questions tonight, everybody. Yay!
Yeah. Um. Let's see. Failing them if we try homeschooling. I don't know what that means.
Are you worried that you're going to fail them if you try homeschooling? Please
I
clarify.
have two in kinder and one in first grade. I struggled so much my whole life in school and scared of failing them.
Oh, yes. Yeah, 2 in kinder and 1 in first grade. You know what's so cool? And I want you ladies to double tap who's ever in here is I have found, because I went through the public school system, I have found homeschooling my children to be redeeming, redeeming my own education. And if you have special needs yourself, I don't think she didn't say that she did, but it's something I'm allowed to share this. It's something my sister really struggles with because she has several diagnoses and really struggled to get through school. And she has insecurities about being able to homeschool. And at the same time, her kid is just going to be starting kindergarten next year. And she will have such an opportunity to redeem her own education and even fill in some of those gaps that she had going through the special ed system. So be encouraged. So many moms who struggled to learn in school themselves are amazing homeschoolers. If anything, it gets you more in touch with your kids and their own struggles and gives you a lot more empathy and compassion. So I think it's an asset.
Yeah. Okay, a lot of moms on here struggling with patience right now. A lot of them.
Patience. Have you been in my house? That was our struggle too. A lot of mamas struggling with patience. Any specific patience questions?
Just in general. I mean, one with a 9-year-old, one with a 4-year-old. Good question. I'm struggling with patience.
Okay, so here's what I want to say.
I can relate.
I can relate too. So I can speak for myself only. I've read a lot, but I can only speak for myself. But I know this is backed by research. A lot of our frustrations in parenting, and this has been the case for me, and I've had to really look inward, is my own anxiety, my own worry. Oh my gosh, is this kid going to end up in jail? Or if they don't learn this, they'll never get into college. Or why is this taking so long? You could have finished this in 20 minutes and it took you an hour. Like, school shouldn't last this long, right? Like that, all of that, like when I would work myself up, that was not keeping my own anxiety in check, for sure. Because here's the thing. We can't make our kids learn at a different pace than they're able to. We cannot. We can't make their frontal lobes and their executive functioning develop any faster than it's gonna develop. We have zero control over that. So the first thing I've learned, and it's been a wonderful lesson for me and hard to learn, is that I need to control my own anxieties and my own self, and I can so easily project into the future and freak out at like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen to this kid when they're 20, right? Well, this kid's 8. This kid is only 8. And that's unfair because I work myself up into a tizzy on stuff that's not even existent yet, or not even true, or not even based on simple cognitive development for children. So yes, have healthy boundaries. Yes, healthy, loving consequences are so important when raising our kids. No, kids should not be running entire households, where everything is revolving around them. No, they're part of a family. We all need to respect one another. At the same time, my biggest lesson, and what has really made a transformative impact in my own family, is identifying, recognizing my own anxieties over what I was projecting in my own kids. So I don't know if that speaks to you, but it certainly has changed my game. And of course I fail every single day, right? But at the same time, I wouldn't want it any other way because I like having my kids home with me and I feel like I can do such a better job than the system can. So for me, it's worth me really working on it.
Yeah. Sarah says, we move a lot due to my husband being in the military, and it's so hard to find and keep a community.
Yeah, Sarah, I get it. We have quite a few military moms in the community. I think that might be one of the reasons, is because we can be something consistent for you guys as you're moving around. Yeah.
Prisgon, I love all the tips, but every time I try to implement them, I don't know where to start. I get overwhelmed.
Okay. Okay. What tips?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Who was that?
Prisgon.
Prisgon. Okay. Yeah. Follow up on that. I want to answer your question. Give me more information.
Ton. Wow, thank you for this. I'm a mental health counselor, and I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Jadili, do you think it's a good idea to homeschool a 4-year-old that's on the spectrum?
Yeah, so I can't answer that for you. I don't know the need level of your 4-year-old who is on the spectrum. Are they verbal? Is he or she verbal? Is he or she nonverbal? What is exactly the learning profile? So with all of that, this is what I can't. Do we have any mamas in here whose kids have autism or are on the spectrum? I'd love for you to comment. So what I will say is that if they are a child who can track with the learning in the schools, absolutely. And you know what? There are a lot of moms who even homeschool kids who are nonverbal. And what I would suggest for that is that you would join Facebook groups, and there's free ones, Facebook groups for moms who are homeschooling kids with your kids, if not exact, very similar learning profile, to get tips, tricks, strategies, hacks, curriculum that works the best. And of course, there are autism specific curricula options out there too. So my answer in general, without knowing your child, my answer in general is it's probably a better option than the schools. So, yeah. But it depends.
Yeah, trying to homeschool with a 3-year-old teaching a 10-year-old can't find a way to teach.
Who is this?
That's Prisgon.
Okay, a 3-year-old and a 10-year-old. I would definitely have that 10-year-old on more independent curriculum if you're not already. And then the other one is 3. It's a 3-year-old and a 10-year-old. The 3-year-old takes time. The 3-year-old is just doing preschool work, not really going to learn to read or anything until they're 5. But the 10-year-old, and the other thing is, keep in mind, ladies, just cognitively speaking with child development, if you're teaching your child and you are tearing your hair out and it's so frustrating because you don't understand why they're not getting it, the answer is probably their brain isn't ready yet. So with one of my children, I tried to teach this child to read at 4 and was not ready. And I was getting super frustrated. Why? I don't understand. Like, he could sound out the sounds, but when it came to blending or putting together, like literally nothing was there. I put it down. I picked it up 6 months later, and he was ready to read. So keep that in mind too, that we need to be students of our students, right? And we need to figure out where they are. Is this too much for them? Is their brain ready for this or not? So don't go by what the school system says a 5-year-old or 6-year-old or 7-year-old should be doing this by this particular month, right? That it makes no sense. Kids didn't learn to talk all at the same week of the month or walk at the same, like, why all of a sudden when a kid turns 5, that all of a sudden all their brains need to be developing at the same rate and at the same time. It makes no sense to me. But yet people believe it. So
we should wrap up soon.
Okay, we're gonna wrap up, you guys. So ask your last questions.
So Andrea has one. I have a kinder, 2nd, 4th grader. They're doing K-12, and it's terrible.
Yes.
Because they too have high IEPs.
Yeah.
They were looking at CC.
Yeah.
But I'm nervous. But they need to do something different.
Yes. So generally speaking, I've never seen a mom in my entire career stay with K-12. And quite frankly, it's not really homeschooling. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's public school at home, right? Yeah. So if you guys ask your last questions. IXL, yeah, I can speak to IXL. It's more of like a supplement. I wouldn't use IXL as a math curriculum. It's more of a supplement. Yeah. And they make it look really fun and snazzy, but I definitely wouldn't use it as a full curriculum. So, you guys, if you have any questions about Thrive Homeschool Community, you can click my link tree and find out more about that. And any other last questions before we go?
I want to start homeschooling my 4 and 9-year-old. Where should I start? It says Monday.
If you want to start homeschooling, grab my 26-page free guide. That's the best place to start. I wrote it for you. Yay! All right. I'm so glad that you guys came tonight. This was super fun. And tomorrow in Thrive, we have 2 discussion groups. I'm really excited about the questions that I'm asking you guys tomorrow. We're going to get personal with each other. It's going to be a really nice time, and I cannot wait. And I'll see you either there or on TikTok or another live or YouTube or Facebook. I'm on all the platforms tonight. So, all right, I love you guys, and I will see you next time, okay? Mwah. All right, bye-bye.